Hello there, my name is Alaydriem, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock tutorial with your favorite cardigan-wearing Minecraft character. And today in this episode, I'll be showing you how to build a Piglin bartering farm for your Minecraft Bedrock 1.20 world. This farm is incredibly simple to build, requires almost no redstone whatsoever, and has a ton of features to ensure that it is running at optimal capacity. It has an auto feeder that will load this thing with gold constantly from your gold farm. It is timed and tuned so that every 8 seconds, your piglins will trade and give you a new item, and is infinitely expandable to as many cells as you would want to or are willing to hold here in this farm. Additionally, you can always expand the storage on this farm to hold even more items, and in conjunction with the gold farm that I have, which I'll have a link for down in the description, you will be able to run this farm pretty much indefinitely. And as usual, before we get into the tutorial, let's go ahead and walk through the mechanics of this farm so that you understand how it works and how to fix anything in case something goes wrong. There isn't a lot to fix on this farm. It is basically fully automatic. All you have to do is press the lever and it runs. But we're going to run through the mechanics anyway because it's important that you know how these farms work. So first and foremost, we have piglins that sit here in these cells. Behind them is a dispenser hooked up to an ether hopper clock that executes a single item drop of gold into each of their cells every 8 seconds. The piglins will then trade with that item and then drop all of their items in the hoppers below them, which will be collected in here. Now in this example, obviously I only have one double chest, and as you can see, I've only been running this farm for about a minute and a half, and these are all the items that we already have. So this farm will generate you hundreds of thousands of items. You need to make sure that if you do decide to build it, you build yourself some expanded storage. I have a tutorial for a item sorter over on the channel that I'll have a link for down in the description that you can watch. The etho hopper clock is, well, an etho hopper clock. There's really not a lot to it. Signal comes in here from the back. It's time for every 8 seconds. And then we have gold that gets dispensed via these target blocks and droppers. Coming on up here is where all of our piglins are stored. As you can see, they drop their items and immediately pick up a slice of gold. And then we have our item drop-off system that will drop off all the gold from our gold farm, which I'll have a link for down in the description for how you can build your own. And this will deposit gold inside of each of these cells for us. It will automatically load these up, and it is tuned to ensure that this hopper is basically always full. This thing is also incredibly fast. Yeah, it's really fast. This hopper will load up exceptionally quickly, and then it will automatically launch. There's a couple neat features with this hopper minecart system that basically ensure that it's always ready. And then down here we have a lever we can turn it off that will basically stop giving all of these guys gold, and then the farm is off and you can collect all of your items and shove it inside of your favorite storage system. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and dive straight into the tutorial. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is get to the nether. And once you're in the nether, just find yourself a nice open place, preferably one where you can get piglins. And we're going to start by building our etho hopper clock. You're going to start by building a block with a comparator feeding into it. You're going to have 2 hoppers pointed into each other. Mirror this configuration on the other side. So comparator coming out, going into a solid block. You're going to place redstone dust on top of each of these solid blocks, and then a redstone solid block on top of one of the hoppers. Go ahead and grab yourself a regular piston and place it in this position right here, and congratulations, you have now built an etho hopper clock. You're going to want to put in 11 items here in this hopper. Make sure you put it in one that isn't going to do this, because yeah, that's frustrating. So just grab 11 at a time and then you can place them in. 11 items placed into this hopper when we're only doing detection off one of these signals on the left or the right equals about 8.5 seconds, which is the perfect amount of time for piglin trading here on Minecraft Bedrock. We're now going to carry that signal coming out of this just as a fail-safe and as a annoyance factor. We can go ahead and place a lever here, and that will shut this clock off in the meantime. Go ahead and grab yourself a piece of block. Doesn't really matter what it is. You're going to place a repeater coming out of that, and then you're going to staircase this up. And then coming up on top of this, you're going to place a piece of redstone dust, and then you're going to place a target block that this piece of redstone dust feeds into. On top of that target block, you're going to go ahead and place a dropper. And then we're basically going to repeat this entire action as many blocks as we want. I'm going to go ahead and build 5 cells for the purpose of this tutorial, but you can obviously extend this out to as many cells as you want. We're going to have this alternating pattern right here. Every other block, we're going to have a target block on top with a dropper directly on top of it. And then on the back here, you're going to want to place redstone dust going into each of this, specifically into the target blocks. So once that's in place, you should have something a little like this. Come on here to the sides. You're going to want to place glass blocks in these positions so that your piglins don't escape from you. And then you're going to do that here on the sides. And then you're going to also repeat that here in these middle cells. So once that is set up, you should have something that looks like this. Then we're going to go ahead and place in our item collection system. You can go ahead and grab yourself a double chest and some hoppers. Find roughly about the middle here. Doesn't need to be perfect if it's not perfectly symmetrical. Place down your double chest directly beneath these glass blocks, and then you're going to feed hoppers into this double chest. So hopper, hopper, and then feed the rest of the hoppers into those hoppers. And there you go. Now, this would be a really good time for you to bring in your piglins. And doing this really isn't all that difficult. You just need to build yourself some staircases. Doesn't really matter out of what block they are in. And then we're just going to lower them into here. Lowering the piglins is pretty straightforward. Make sure you're wearing a gold item so that they are not immediately hostile for you. And then as long as you drop a piece of gold, they'll pretty much follow you wherever you want to go. So you can usually come up here and assuming you drop that there on this block, they should climb up there and grab it. If for some reason they aren't jumping, you can just keep throwing some things up there. They'll eventually jump up there, or you can extend this platform out a little bit as shown here, and they will eventually climb their way up. And then once they're up here on this upper platform, you can basically just bully them and push them into this cell. Once they are in the cell, go ahead and close them off, and congratulations, you have them in place. All you have to do now is repeat this for as many piglins as you want to have automatically bartering with, and then you are good to go. With our piglins now in place, now we're going to go ahead and build our rail system. You don't need to put a roof on this. We're going to start by placing hoppers that go into each of these droppers that we have here. You can place any solid block in between them for our rails to sit on. And then on the left and right sides of this, go ahead and place a solid block. You don't want to place that directly on the edge of this hopper here. See, I'm having trouble crouching because I'm in flight mode. Come over here. We're going to do the exact same thing. Then you're going to go ahead and grab yourself this little staircase pattern that you have going on here. And then we're going to lay down some track. Go ahead and grab some power rails. You're going to put power rails here and here so you have the staircase effect. And then put us a redstone torch like that. Delete that one. And then you can place a solid block right here. This will help the cart to bounce back and forth. Go ahead and place regular rails going all over these hoppers all the way to the end here. And then we are going to do something a little bit different. We're going to extend out 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Place powered rails here, and then directly beneath one of these power rails, go down 2 blocks, knock out that block, and place a redstone torch so that is powered. You can then go ahead and fill this in. In this position right here, you want to place a activator rail and then another powered rail to the right of it. We're going to actually staircase this up. So we're going to make this L pattern, powered rail, knock that out, and then we can cap that end off with another solid block. Flipping around to the front, we're going to go ahead by the activator rail, extend out 2 blocks to the left, another 2 blocks out. Then we're going to have this T pattern right here. We're going to place 2 blocks in this pattern and then have a center section shown right here. Redstone torch here on these 2 little side blocks. Comparator coming out of this. And then we are going to grab ourselves a lever. We're going to place that lever down in this position right here. Make sure you turn this lever on. Then we're going to have a comparator pointed into this back torch, and then dust and dust. Grab yourself your sticky piston, place it against the torch, and then place a fence rail in front of it as shown here. And then we are going to place a hopper over this rail. Just go ahead and place it like that. Make sure you have a stopper block there. And then place a solid block next to that. And then to the right of this torch, another sticky piston. And you can knock that temporary block out. So at this point, our rail system is now done. You just need to line it up with chests. You can extend this and make this as large or as small as you want. I like putting at least 3 layers on, and you can just place it on top of there. This will pull all of our gold into this hopper and will basically allow this farm to run as long as we have gold. And like I said earlier, if you need a gold farm, make sure you check out the one in the description. If you have fire tick on, you basically have infinite gold. And if you have fire tick off, all you need is flint and you still basically have infinite gold. It's a great little farm to run. But with this now in place, you are ready to load this up with gold. And once this is loaded up with gold, all you need to do is place that lever down by our etho hopper clock and your farm is now ready to go. So that's going to be it for me in this episode. If you liked the video, please consider giving it a like. If you want to see more content, more farms, more tutorials, make sure you subscribe. Go ahead and check out my Let's Plays. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.